So I don't know about you, but a lot of buyers I talk to think that their only job with their real estate agent is to just find them a house, write an offer, and get them the keys and close escrow. And that's the easy part. But what a lot of people don't understand are the conversations that happens behind the scenes, the hard ones, the difficult conversations with clients that sometimes clients don't want to hear. And that's my job. So if you don't know me, my name's John Jenkins. I'm a realtor here in Silicon Valley. Been born and raised here my whole life. And I've been doing this for 26 years. And in that time, I've sat across the table from hundreds of buyers and sellers and had some very difficult conversations, telling them sometimes not to buy and telling them sometimes they're not ready to buy. And maybe that the house they love is not the right home for them. This is the biggest financial decision of most people's lives. And this is not like buying something on Amazon, running down to Whole Foods and getting free returns. And so I take it that serious. And I want to go over today with you some of those conversations that I have and that might be beneficial to you when you're looking to buy a home in Silicon Valley. So today I want to walk you through some of those hard conversations I've had with my clients here in Silicon Valley and why they're uncomfortable, but why it protects my clients and earns their trust. Let's get into it. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is telling a client that maybe it's not the right time for them to buy. This one surprises a lot of people, but it's often the moment that earns my clients their trust for life. Sometimes the numbers don't work. Sometimes the timing is wrong, or their job situation is just a little bit too shaky, or they might be having pending layoffs. I've had to look at sometimes my clients directly in the eye and tell them to wait. Even though that meant no commission for me right now, but I've earned the respect every time with my clients that that moment, they trust me even more. I was a financial planner before, teaching people how to get out of debt and get in investing their money. And so I'm proud to say that none of my clients have ever got hit of having to buy something and then sell when it's underwater, because that's how seriously I take it. But having those conversations when looking at it, and not just because someone wants to buy, quickly get into a situation. But so telling them not to buy is one of the hardest conversations, but it's what I need to do for a lot of my clients to earn their trust and do what's right for them financially. Okay, so another hard conversation, if two people are buying a home, that they're both not on board. Typically, there's always one that's more of a decision maker, but if they're both not on board, don't do it. They both need to be on board, because we don't want, buyer's remorse after they move in, but to have that conversation and make sure that both parties, both people in the transaction that are purchasing the home, that they have their feelings heard and that all their concerns are addressed. Just not typically the decision maker, but both are being heard. Because sometimes that's tough to do. And I can see it that there's more of a dominant in there. But you don't want someone to get into that house and then one person is not happy. So you maybe hit a pause, have a conversation with them, slow it down, but to make sure they're both on board. And I've seen too many times in the past when I was beginning to get into something and then just, maybe a couple weeks before closing escrow, it's finally coming to a headway and they want to back out. We don't want to waste anyone's time in going down that whole track and then backing out and upsetting the sellers. So have those conversations up front and make sure that both people are getting their feelings understood and their concerns addressed, that we do that. But slow down that process and make sure that both people are being fully understood and hearing that I'm not just doing the talking, but they are and listening. So another thing is I call it emotional resistance. Buying a home in this market is really stressful. On the rankings of the most stressful things people have been through, you're talking bankruptcy, divorce, and buying and selling a house. It's up there. It's that stressful, especially if you're selling. You got to go through all your stuff, downsizing. It's stressful. And I understand that. And so I need to be there almost as a therapist sometimes and just listen to my clients, but to make sure I'm helping them through their fear, their disappointment, their exhaustion. Sometimes they've written a couple offers and they are exhausted through the whole process. It's not just about finding properties. I've seen people get so worn down after losing offer after offer that they might start to make decisions that might not be the best just because they want that over. This isn't just something we want to get over and get on to the next. This is a massive financial decision. And so again, slowing that down, listening, and making sure they're being listened to, they're being heard, and so they can get through the process of getting over that. But again, telling them, sometimes it's not just telling them what to do, they just need to get that out, and that they're listened, and that both parties are listening and feeling that their needs and concerns are being listened to. Again, I kind of mentioned this before, but it's being honest with them. The honesty is what builds trust. This ties everything together in my mentality and my persona about me. A Boy Scout, all the Scout things about being honest, truthful, trustworthy, all that stuff. But my clients don't remember the agent who told them what they want to hear. They'll remember what told them the truth. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. This is my whole philosophy, everything that I'm about. It's not my money. My job is to make sure they have the truth so they can make this very important decision and weigh everything about that. To point out the negatives of the house, to point out the negatives of the neighborhood, just not to look at it during the open house. Let's come back at night in the weekends when there might be a lot of cars. What's it like during the school hours, or maybe more traffic if it's near a school, to point out those negatives that they're not thinking about. They're going through the house, they're falling in love with it. I'm looking at it a completely different way, through a different eye, because I've seen people's frustrations after they move in. Another conversation sometimes that I have with my clients is encouraging them to consider switching lenders. A lot of times they go out, 1-800 number, they see an ad on the internet or the TV, and they call a lender that's not local, and they get pre-approved. And I know that when we present offers here to local agents, having the right lender that they know and trust that will get the job done on time, that if there's a concern and they're not getting the loan docs ready so to sign off, that I can call up locally and talk to the manager or someone if it's not getting done, if we're not having proper communication. These rates that they're kind of being told over the internet or on the phone, they're always what they end up with. I've seen it over the years. And I know that when I'm looking at offers, if I'm representing a seller and offers are coming in and I don't know that lender, I call them. Well, first of all, I'm going to call them. I don't want to see if they're going to pick up the phone or if it's just an assistant. I've seen so many times that a client is talking to a 1-800 lender and they're not picking up, or they get it going and it gets shopped to someone else. But that makes a massive difference, because they're who's coming up with the most of the money to buy the house, the lender. And I've seen too many times where they mess it up at the very end and those loan docs are not getting in and no one's calling me back. And there's been times where I actually went down to the physical branch office here locally to talk to them in face to face because they're not calling me back. So that is a difficult conversation, but that makes a massive difference on getting your offer accepted and getting it closed on time. So advising them to possibly switch lenders to someone that I know, who have a reputation with, and that will jump through hoops to get the job done. So another hard conversation sometimes with my clients, because I've seen it for so many years, is that the trade-off between commute time and getting a bigger house. And I've seen a lot of this where I've had people want to go and get this really much bigger house, but a much longer commute. And then after 5 years, and they're never hardly spending time with the kids, and they're spending 3+ hours a day going back and forth, sometimes 4 hours a day, that commute is killing them, and they're losing that family time and the quality of life. And so, but to have that conversation with them saying, hey, I know you're going to get a smaller house, maybe not something that's crazy big as that you want and updated and nicer, but what's most important, the commute or the bigger house? Now, things have changed since COVID, where there's not as many people having to go into the office every day. But you know what I've also been seeing over the past couple of years? They want you back in the office. They want you back in the office because they know you're going to be more productive than you are at home. And so, but that's a conversation to have with your clients. What's the trade-off? And if you are looking at buying a house that is a little further away, go take that commute. Just don't trust what your friends are saying. Or what on the apps are saying the commute time. Get up early, go drive it, and actually see. Okay? And a lot of times I'm having to tell my clients, don't just listen to your coworkers and friends. What's their advice on everything? And that drives me crazy. So many times my clients are talking to this person, this person, this person, and they're getting all this other advice, but they're not their agent. They're not licensed. They're not trained on this information. That's not their wheelhouse, but they're giving advice that to me, is not the best advice. So another conversation I have to have, it's going to be difficult sometimes because I have clients that are so anal on wanting specific school districts or schools, and that's their whole focus. And so I've seen it times where they get in there and their kids aren't happy. The kids aren't happy, you know? And so they could have gotten some other house and maybe not the top schools. I've seen people get into the top schools and then their kids don't go to that school and they go to a private school. And so they're so hung up on that. And there are great neighborhoods with not the top, really, really good schools. And so, but to not be so focused on that. But I have a conversation with them. But it's a tough conversation sometimes because they're so anal on that. But need to have that conversation because those are the ones that are having the most bidding wars and going up in the top schools. So another tough conversation is bidding wars. Now, not all homes are going crazy multiple offers, but some are, and the best ones are. But if you're going in with these bidding wars and how to be competitive, and it's scary, but most of the time to get these homes to be competitive, to even have a shot of getting it, is to waive your contingencies, which means that if you're waiving your contingencies to get your own inspection, to get an appraisal. Well, you can get appraisal, but can you use that appraisal if it doesn't come in at the value to back out or to renegotiate? And so that is a scary thing. But here in Silicon Valley, for the homes that are going crazy multiple offers, and not all of them are, that's what you need to do. But have a conversation with them about that and the pros and cons about it and the consequences if it doesn't appraise, and to be prepared for that and how much money you might need to bring extra to the table to get that loan closed to purchase the house. But to really have a conversation, the pros and cons about that, so they have their eyes open, so there's no regrets when that happens. So another conversation I have to have sometimes that some buyers are so anal on treating a home like it's a stock pick. And they're so wanting to look at the appreciation numbers, to run it like it's an evaluation of an investment on the investment, the comps and everything, return on my investment, all that. That does take place, but I have to keep reminding them that this is more. If this is your personal home, it's not just an investment, that this is where you're gonna raise your kids. This is where you have most of the memories. This is where you have your gatherings, your family dinners, your relatives over, Christmas, all your holidays, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all the holidays. These are where the memories are made, in your home, right there. We got some nice trips and vacations, but most of the memories are in your home with your family. And you want a home that's gonna feel that way. And there's not a price on that. So when we're looking at homes, I ask people, how do you feel? How does this home make you feel? What do you see yourself doing? We go over kind of their feelings and when they were growing up in their homes, and what were those emotions that we're bringing out for them, that we can use that to find the home that's going to be best for them and their memories in that house. So some of my clients I need to have conversations with where they cannot make a decision. They just can't. And we're going on and on and on. But I need to get them back on track and saying, what is your goal here? Is your goal to buy or not to buy? And they have a decision paralysis and then analyzing everything on overload. And we need to get through that, but there's a point to where we say, you need to make a decision. They have brilliant, data-driven people who want to see one more house, and keep running comparisons and wait for more data points But my job is to kind of sit down with them and say, okay, we've gone through it, but you need to make a decision. So that's just some of my number one hard conversations that I have with my clients for buyers to get them to move forward or to slow it down. Ultimately, there's choice, but I feel I need to have those conversations and then support them on it, but to point out the negatives, to point out the things so that they can make their decision that's the biggest financial decision of their life. So at the end of the day, my job isn't just to find my clients a house. It's making sure that when they make that biggest financial decision of their life, that they make it with clear eyes and honest information, that they know I have someone in their corner who will tell them the truth and have those hard conversations. So if any of this resonated with you that I talked about, if you're having one of these conversations right now with your partner about buying a house and what to do, I'd love to help you. I've been down here for 26 plus years selling real estate. My one commitment is I will be honest with you. I'll work my butt off for you and help you through the process to help you decide if this is now or not, or down the road is the best time to buy. If you're thinking about it here in Silicon Valley, I can help you. My business partner, Tanya Joan, is up in the East Bay. And if you're looking up there in San Ramon, Danville up there, up that way, I can connect you with her. Thank you again for watching. Have a great day.